Yes, now, bless now. Don't forget Rest Now Des signing in on King of the Pit TV. We're going to follow on from our little history lesson. We've been delving into the Offspring records I've checked out on this channel as of so far. If they're not available on this channel, they are available via Patreon, alright? And they will be on YouTube in whenever they want to come out, alright? So let's have a look at the info in regards to the debut album, the self-titled, right? Which was from a signed record deal with small-time label Nemesis Records. Let's see who Nemesis put out. Chorus of Disapproval, Brujeria, and these are just bands I know, by the way. You check them out. Final Conflict, who are they? Final Conflict sounds like a Nazi band. American hardcore punk band. I've never listened to the Final Conflict. The genre's hardcore punk and punk rock. Instead, Youth Crew band. Of course, we've got the Offspring. One Step Ahead. Uniform Choice, who are a very good band. I do like Uniform Choice. Cool, interesting stuff. It was an American independent record label, and they've even noted that it released the Offspring's debut studio album as well as their 91 EP. So Baghdad, the 91 EP must have been very special. Nemesis was founded by Frank Harrison, distributed by Cargo Records from Canada, and closed in 93. So there you go. As far as the information they've provided, they've said the Offspring was the most important thing they had put out. So let's have a look into the information regarding the self-titled, okay? The Offspring is the debut studio album by the American rock band The Offspring, released in June 15, 1989 by Nemesis Records. After being out of print for years, the album was re-released by Nitro and Epitaph Records in 95 with a different album cover. We didn't see this album cover. That album covers, I don't like the guitar in the mix, but the album cover's a lot better than what we have seen when I was listening through to it. A lot better. The genre's actually down as hardcore punk, which is wild. While I don't think it was hardcore punk personally. After being out of print for years, the album was re-released by Nitro and Epitaph in 95 with a different album cover, which is better. Both the re-releases on the two respective labels are nearly identical. The Offspring has rarely played any songs from this album since the Ignition tour finished in 94. I mean, the songs on Ignition were a lot more thought out, a lot more mature, so I can see why. After recording a demo tape in 88, the Offspring began preparations for their first full length. They recorded it in March 89 at South Coast Recording in Santa Ana, California, with Tom Wilson producing. Who else has Tom touched? Well, in the last video we saw who Tom had touched, a few hardcore punk classics. During the sessions, the band re-recorded their early songs, I'll Be Waiting and Black Ball, which both originally appeared on the band's 86 single I'll Be Waiting. The album was released on June 15, 89 in limited numbers by Nemesis Records, only in 12-inch vinyl and cassette format. Where it was released, the album initially sold 5,000 copies, which is half decent for a debut, and it took the band 2.5 years to sell them all. Still, that's 5,000 records, that's a lot of hands. The album's closing track, Kill the President, was met with a great deal of controversy. Yep, definitely. Even I had to... I shouldn't even be saying it on record because of the algorithms and stuff like that, but as one of the copies was destroyed by Wally George at his show Hot Seat in 92, thus leaving only 499 copies left. I wonder how much they're going for now, them original prints. The song was removed from the reissues after 2001. Some copies also have the Cargo Records logo next to the Nemesis logo on the back cover. To support the album, the Offspring embarked on a 6-week national tour, but Noodles was stabbed during a performance at the Hollywood Anti-Nuclear Benefit. Following the small success of the Offspring, the band signed with Epitaph Records in 91. Beheaded was rarely ever played live, having been played at least 24 times as of July 2016. The Offspring has rarely played any songs from the rest of the album. Let's have a look at the reception then. So the reception was... The Offspring received mixed reviews. If I'm stuttering and buttering people, I'm a little tired. I do apologise. You won't get this in the next one. We've got the reissue cover art. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, dude, the original art was so much better. The reissue art looks terrible. Yeah, the reissue art's crap. I don't like the reissue art. I thought the original was the old school one. Why did the reissue it looking like that? The Offspring received mixed reviews. All music writer Stephen Thomas Erlewine, who gave the album 2.5 stars out of 5, stated that The Offspring is a rawer, harder edge collection than their breakthrough set Smash, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a better record, and that it lacks the metal guitar crunch that dominated Smash. The Offspring did not initially reach the Billboard 200 chart to become a commercial success. However, when the album was reissued in '95, it reached peak position number 85 in the Netherlands album charts for 3 weeks. I was going to say it's pretty high if that was the Billboard. The Offspring was reissued several times. Offspring's commercial, la 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 la. It features a different artwork instead of the controversial guitar alien front cover artwork. What's controversial about that? If that's controversial, you know what I mean. That's just an excuse to change the artwork, isn't it? Designed by Mark Root. Shout out to Mark Root. The album was reissued once again in 2001. Were killed omitted. According to frontman Dexter Holland, it was removed to prevent legal pressure falling upon the band and Nitro. True. At that time, you know what I mean? People don't know what they're saying until it's too late. People don't know what they do until it's too late. These bands start off wanting to be the biggest band in the world, but they never act like the biggest band in the world from the get-go. They are local bands, and maybe lessons need to be learned, or maybe they're just being naive and they don't really believe in it, but they don't act like it because they make silly decisions, whether it be through copyright, writing credits, productions, mastering, and all of that legal stuff that lies below. They don't bother, and then it kicks them in the ass. It was removed to, coincided with Record Store Day. The Offspring was reissued in 2017 on blue translucent vinyl like the Bro, they've reissued this record so many times. I don't think it's that good a record. You know what I mean? I felt like they were just finding themselves on this record. 2 covers of this album exist. The original version features an image of a man's body exploding as the xenomorph from the Alien franchise holding a Fender Strat emerges from his chest. There is a report which remains unconfirmed that the album was banned from retail stores due to the grotesque cover. I don't know what record stores are banning that, but that's ridiculous. The 95 re-release shows a different image that shows a blurry black and white picture of a person's face. It was later admitted that the band and their studio never really liked the original cover, and the re-release gave them the opportunity to change it. The shadows on the back cover of the 95 reissue also appear on the cover of the I'll Be Waiting single. And all the tracks were written by Dexter Holland, so he's just making the money. James Lilja gets a credit on Beheaded. And yeah, my man Dexter Holland is just laughing throughout all of that. Jennifer Lost the War is featured on Punkorama Volume 1. I bet even Punkorama Volume 1 is an exclusive record. I bet you have to pay a couple of quid for that. Beheaded was re-recorded for the movie Idle Hands. Tehran was later recorded as Baghdad. Black Ball is featured on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 4. I don't remember that. Yeah, cool. So there you go. That's a little bit of info in regards to that debut record. Let's have a look at Ignite now, shall we? And see what info we got on that. We'll bypass the Baghdad 7-inch information purely as... Well, I keep calling it Ignite. It's called Ignition. My bad, people. It's the same old, isn't it? So Ignition is the second studio album, released on 16th of October 92 by Epitaph. Issued during the alternative rock and grunge era, the album brought the band small success in Southern California as they started to gather a following. It's mad because you've got to keep on grinding, people, because it's talking about bringing the band small success in Southern California, which is where they were based anyway, as they started to gather a following. This is 8 years on from when they formed the band. This success will continue to grow their next album, Smash. It is the first and only album to include photos of each band member in the liner notes. That's something I commented on when we were listening to Smash. They don't like to post themselves often. Normally, these people in bands want their face on absolutely everything, but the Offspring is the complete vice versa. I ain't seen no one from the band properly since we got a good view in one music video, and like even then they're blurring their faces and adding all these funky effects and stuff. Okay, so the success would continue to grow since Smash, and Ignition was certified gold on January 22nd, 96, nearly 2 years after the release of Smash, and has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. For the album's 20th anniversary in 2012, The Offspring played Ignition in its entirety for some selected concerts. They also performed the album in 2017 at a benefit concert in 924 Gilman Street. I need to have a look at 924 Gilman Street because I've never looked into the venue, but it's always referenced, it's always there. I know there's some epic stuff. I don't know why it isn't to the degree of CBGB's as far as pushed in your face, but there we go. Over here in England, we don't really reference that. The band re-recorded Ignition's six track, Some Desolated tune. The band re-recorded Ignition's 6-track Dirty Magic for their 9th studio album Days Go By, released 20 years later. They must have liked it then, huh? Studio this was recorded at West Beach Recorders. Recorded Bad Religion, Avenged Sevenfold, NoFX, Rancid, The Offspring, and Pennywise. So it's just referring to the producer as well, because Tom Wilson had recorded that. Still classified as hardcore punk genre-wise. In 91, The Offspring teamed up with producer Tom Wilson, to record Baghdad. That EP was instrumental to the band signing with Epitaph. Wilson had been trying to get The Offspring to switch to Epitaph, a label run by Bad Religion guitarist Brett Gurewitz. Gurewitz felt that The Offspring was just not quite pronounced enough for his label, but Baghdad convinced him to give the band a shot. The word pronounced is an interesting word to use in reference to how they sounded. I agree. Thanks to the success of Baghdad, The Offspring managed to record their second full-length album. The band entered 2 recording studios, West Beach Recorders and Track Record, in June 92 to record Ignition in a similar fashion to the production schedule for The Offspring and Baghdad, which were both recorded in just 1 month. Which is still a long time. A whole 1 month to record a record. To me, that's a long time. Some of the material, including Take It Like a Man, which was originally recorded in 91 for a Flipside magazine compilation, The Big One and Get It Right, which appears on Baghdad, are updated versions of songs that were recorded around the Offspring Baghdad era. The album also had one outtake, Mission from God, which was lately slightly remixed and then released on the compilation album Punkorama Volume 10 in 2005. Is it Fat Mike who was behind Punkorama? It was released by Epitaph Records. Alright, so it's just compilation records that... although you got Don't Call Me White there on that one in particular. Mission of God was then released as a bonus download when Ignition was reissued on vinyl, albeit in its 92 original mix. Release and reception. So Ignition was released through Epitaph. You know what I mean? This is like an Epitaph Records fan page. This Ignition did not chart on the Billboard 200. However, The Offspring began to gather small success in the southern region of California, mainly in the years of San Diego, Orange County, which is their hometown, as we've learned, and LA, and spent a year and a half touring relentlessly behind the album. Although no videos released for Ignition, Kicking When He's Down was released as an airplay-only single in 95. Ignition was certified gold on January 22, 96, nearly 2 years after the release of Smash. The album has received generally favourable reviews in the years since its initial release, with several reviewers having deemed Ignition one of The Offspring's best albums. In October 2011, the album was ranked number 2 between Alice in Chains' Dirt and Bad Religion's Generator on Guitar World magazine's top 10 list of guitar albums of 92. Wow! I guess guitar albums of 92, fair enough. It's very, very precise. Who came out in 92? 91, 92, very awkward time for music. I'll go as far as say 93 was also a bit dry as far as I'm concerned. 94 was booming, but touring and promotion. So The Offspring toured for a year and a half to promote Ignition. The audience continued to hone supporting such bands such as Youth Brigade, The Vandals, Bad Religion, DI, Guttermouth, Voodoo Glow Skulls. Man, I've seen Voodoo Glow Skulls before. Great band. Glue Gun, Momentum, Final Conflict, Face to Face, Pennywise, Rancid, Unwritten Law, RKL, Untrust, Cadillac Tramps, and Korn. Just leaving Korn at the end there. The Offspring then managed to secure a slot in 3 major label tours in '93. They opened for No Effects on their White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean tour, and in that summer, the band supported Lunachicks and Iceburn. Who are Lunachicks, man? It won't open up the Lunachicks thing. Whatever. After the tour ended, the Offspring took a break and went back into the studio to record their third album, Smash. In early '94, the Offspring landed the opening slot for Pennywise on their Unknown Road tour. The Ignition tour ended April 1st, '94 at the Shrine Auditorium in LA, just 1 week before the release of Smash. Wow, lots of hard work, back to back. Then we're back on the road for Smash. That's crazy, that. Right, cool, that's a little factoid. Next, we're going to get onto the history surrounding Smash, and we're going to look into, some cool information in regard to that record. That record's still fresh with me, so let's jump in, people, all right?